Today we have a veteran community moment presenter, actually a member of the Houston Oasis Board of Directors, Verena Kalhoff. We're going to welcome her to the podium at this time. Welcome, Verena.
I kind of wanted to give a community moment that tags into what Fred talked about last week. And unlike most of my community moments where I run around the room, kind of stuck here today. I was about 10, 11 years old when I read the Bible for the first time, and actually the last time up to now. And I knew from that point on that any community really founded in that Bible wasn't going to be a community for me, a viable option for me long term. But for the next 4 to 5 years, I kind of still actively participated. I was an altar girl. I went to summer camps and did a bunch of other events with the Catholic Church, partially because religion really didn't play into a lot of these events. I mean, of course, while I was an altar girl, yeah. But I mean, I went for the community. During that time, though, the rift kind of deepened, and I just didn't know where I fit. I knew I didn't fit in there, but I didn't know what else. So by age 16, I had essentially broken with the Catholic Church, and for the next 2 decades or so, I had no community. I had friends and like-minded colleagues. But it was a somewhat homogeneous group in both background and interests. And so on April 6, 2014, I came to Houston Oasis for the first time. Since then, I've had more diverse conversations than I had ever had before with people of all ages, various backgrounds and interests, and absolutely fascinating life stories. Houston Oasis has had a tremendous impact on my life, and I envision us to become the community, that same community to other people, regardless of their journey. Those of you who were here last week heard Fred say, on any given Sunday, the people at an Oasis gathering may cover the full range from atheistic activists to curious theists who have heard about us and want to check us out. This diversity in the people that we can reach, and the potential of what Houston Oasis can be, or the Oasis Network can be, is why I care so deeply about this community. I know how much richer life is once you're part of a community. Meaning comes from making a difference. It is certainly one of our core values. Making a difference in people's lives, in the community, in the country, and in fact, making a difference for humanity. Houston Oasis makes a difference in many aspects. Of course, through volunteering, we go do a lot of different events, Project Cure, Books Between Kids, and Houston Food Bank. We have the children's programming. We have music and education and social events. Can't forget those. But what does it take for Houston Oasis to be that community with such a positive impact? For those of you who have been to Meeting of Minds, you know the 3 signs that I put in the middle. It's kindness, compassion, and respect. These are not mere suggestions, but rather must-haves for civil discourse. It is not possible to build a welcoming and accepting community through unkindness, disrespect, and intolerance. You can't do that. So fostering our culture of kindness, tolerance, giving and expecting respect are essential to building our community. A few months ago, I told you that it takes about 40 volunteer hours each Sunday and upwards of 240 volunteer hours during any given month to make Houston Oasis happen. But in retrospect, I realized that I wasn't quite accurate. When you really think about it, to make Houston Oasis work, it takes every one of us interacting with each other in a kind and respectful fashion, nurturing the core values of Houston Oasis. There is, however, an additional image I have. Oasis is a community of people who make a difference, and I envision part of the difference to be positivity in each other's lives. Recently, I listened to a seminar on characteristics of happy people. The one characteristic that stuck with me was the ability of reframing challenging events into opportunities. And it had a very, very powerful story that came with it. A woman in her 40s, freshly divorced, she lost her job, Her house burned down, and with it she also lost her car. Rather than falling into despair, she framed these events into the biggest opportunity she's ever had. What other woman in her mid-40s gets to reinvent her life, redo everything, and go towards the life, whatever it is that she really wants to be doing with it? So she hired an architect, built a house with a ton of windows that the architect discouraged her from, resale value. But no, that's what she wanted. She bought a new car and looked for whatever job would be fulfilling to her. And that might sound, to some people like, oh, well, this story, that doesn't happen all that frequently. I very intimately know a girl in her 20s who in the same year, this was 2001, lost her father, ended a long-term relationship. She was an international student in the United States when the planes hit the towers. She had just switched schools, lost all of her friends who went off to different schools. And at that time, it was really, well, what's next? Am I doing this? And yes, it was me. Am I doing this because I really want to do this? Am I doing this to prove anything to anybody? That year was a pivotal point in my life where I went from, stuff had just always happened to me, and I was mad about it, to no, this is really what I want to do. I'm going to take charge of my life, and I'm going to make it whatever it is that I want to make out of it. That reframing from huge challenges into big opportunities, I think, is really what makes happy people. Just a few weeks back, I was sitting in the back there by the window watching people come in looking for a seat. And as I was looking around the room, I recognized so many friends of mine, so many different stories. And it occurred to me that I really love this community. I love you guys. And so what I hope we can do for each other is not just treat each other with kindness and respect and tolerance and all those things, but also be the support for each other to help each other reframe our lives when things get tough. Help each other rebuild and really have that atmosphere of positivity. Make the difference in each other's lives, make the difference in the lives of people around the community, and really make the difference, be the difference within people in the galaxy. Thank you.